Psalm 119 and verse 71, David puts it this way: "It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I may learn your statutes." Nobody was better qualified to make this very instructive conclusion, because here was somebody who was in and out of several battles, like I said, all through his entire life. And he began to see that with each victory, he was learning the ways of the Lord, getting better in his relationship all the while. So, ladies and gentlemen, trouble is not out of God's plan for your life to the degree that those troubles are meant to work out something in your life. However, from the account of we read in Revelation chapter 12, which is our foundational text, from verses 7 all the way to verse 10, there are several very profound principles we can draw out that can help us to triumph when the troubles of life assail us. The first one is that trouble does not mean that God is absent. Trouble doesn't mean that God is absent. You know, it's very important we understand that after all, in that account, the Bible says, "And war broke out in heaven." So in the very presence of God, war broke out. So the presence of war is not the same thing as the absence of God. You know, there's a popular poet who wrote a poem of somebody complaining that when things are rosy, he finds two footprints, his footprints and supposedly the footprint of God, through the journeys of life. But when the troubles are intense, he only finds one footprint. So he began to complain to God that why would God leave him when it mattered the most? How can he have only one footprint, in the journey of life when the troubles are intense? Until God replied and said to him, yes, it is only one footprint, because when the troubles broke out, or when they break out, the only footprint you see is mine, not yours. Because at that moment, I'm the one carrying it. Listen to how David puts it in the book of Psalm chapter 46 and verse 1. He says, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." A very present help in trouble. So when there is trouble, it does not mean that God is absent. He is with you. He is with you through thick and thin, through the ups and downs, the twists of life, the seasons of life. He does not leave you. Never make the mistake that because you are going through an intense persecution, it shows that God has left you. No. That would not be scriptural. In the book of Psalm chapter 91 and verse 15, God said, "I will be with him in trouble." Psalm 91:15, "I will be with him in trouble." So in trouble, God is right there with you. Don't allow the enemy, because the devil is a master at deception. He knows that your ability to be strong and to be able to rise up is enhanced significantly by the knowledge and conviction of the abiding presence of God in the midst of the trouble. So guess what he's going to do to you? He's going to make you believe that trouble is proof that God has abandoned you. That is not correct. Right in the trouble, we've seen many instances. The best example you probably can remember is the example of the 3 Hebrew children who were thrown into the burning furnace of fire. And guess what? The 4th man appeared. He's always there when the heat of adversity, when the challenges of life become ferocious, when it is threatening to consume you. Guess what? He's closer when the trouble is more intense. So never miss that, because we see that in the Revelation chapter 12 account that war broke out while God was right on the throne. So trouble does not mean that God is absent.